story from the files of a psychotherapist. So there was this patient, let's call her Rita. She used to visit this psychotherapist for weeks and for months. The reason she was visiting the doctor was that she was not enjoying her work. She was unhappy, she was putting in extra hours, and in spite of that, she could never finish her work. Her colleagues and her manager had always perceived her and labeled her as a procrastinator. So after trying out all the other cognitive things like project management tools, etc., she decided to go slightly deeper into her own challenge and started visiting the therapist. After going through the standard psychoanalytic investigations such as her attitudes towards work, attitude towards authority, her relationship with her parents and with her husband, the discussion was not really moving forward. Her work habits remained the same. Then one day in one meeting, the therapist decided to ask her the seemingly most simple question. He asked, Rita, do you like to eat cake? And she said, oh yes, of course, I love it. He said, and which part of cake do you like? She said, of course, the frosting. And she went on and on about the various flavors of frosting that she enjoys eating. So the therapist asked her, so Rita, if I were to, present you with a piece of cake right now, what would you eat first? And she said, is that even a question? Of course the frosting. That's what I love the most about the cake. Rest of the cake can wait until I finish the frosting. And in that most inane question and answer conversation, actually the answer to Rita's challenge was found. So then the doctor went on to, inquire more into her work habits, and it turned out that the most desired, most loved part of her work was finished by Rita in the first hour of any work day. And then the rest of the 7 hours, she was just dragging her feet through the most unpleasant parts of her work. She didn't like it, she procrastinated, she sat on it, she had to put in extra hours, and in spite of that, work was spilling over from one day to the other, and 1 week to the other, and 1 month to the other. So they slowly, waded through and worked through this challenge and this habit. And of course, Rita's problem was solved in a few months. This story is important to me personally. You see, as a professional and as the executive director of Alchemy, I love a large part of my work, which is when I'm coaching, when I'm consulting, when I'm mentoring, when I'm writing something, when I'm designing something else, when I'm making a video. I love all these parts. But as the executive director, the parts of my work which I dislike, despise even, are the parts that involve the administration, the P&L, and the whole accounts and finance bits. I have spent years agonizing over those parts, pushing them to the very last day of the compliance deadline. In the process, snapping at the accounts people and getting extremely irritated if the admin people got any work or any even seeking suggestion from me. I think this Rita story one day really shone light on my own work habits. I made a decision to change, and what I started doing for last couple of years now is that I start my work week every Monday first thing in the morning by giving my fullest attention to the part of my work which I dislike the most, and then I'm free to relish those parts of my work which I enjoy the most. So my friends, I think life is full of both pain and pleasure. I think the question is, what do we choose and how do we choose? Do we choose to enjoy the pleasure first and then let the pain be even more painful because we have prolonged it? Or we go through the pain first and then we are free to relish the pleasure that comes after that, even though we have to wait a little bit longer for that. We would love to hear your experiences about eating the cake. How do you eat it? The frosting? or the cake.
Hi guys, if you liked the video, please click the bell icon and also please subscribe to our channel.